All right, 7.2, multiplying polynomials. So there are a few different methods usually used when multiplying polynomials, and I'm going to go through each of the 4 methods that our book uses here. All right, the FOIL method, distributive property using table, and the vertical method. And really in my class, I'm fine if you use whichever one you want. I'll ask you to demonstrate each, but as you get going, you can use whatever method you want as long as it works for you. First, use FOIL to find the product. So the FOIL method. FOIL method, FOIL is an acronym. It stands for first. Okay, so that means if I look at a binomial times a binomial, they each have, there's a binomial, the first term times the first term. That's first. O is outer. Okay, that means I am multiplying the outer term. Oops, excuse me, the outer term here times the outer term over here. So the outside terms, outer, and then the inners, okay, the 2 inside terms, also known as inside sometimes, and then last. Okay. So really when I do this, now that I've shown it that way, let me kind of walk you through it here. The first, oops, that is x squared, x times x, outer, that is x times 1, or just 1x, inner, 4 times x, or 4x, that's positive, and, excuse me there, you know what, let me put this 4x up here right now, and then 4 times 1, the last. That is FOIL. This should have been, sorry, outer. F-O-I-L. All right, so I get x squared plus 5x. These two things go together to make 5x, combining like terms, plus 4. I have now multiplied it. I multiplied each thing in the first binomial by each thing in the second. Okay, let me show you another example of FOIL, hopefully a little better process here. There's my first, x squared. There's my outer, negative 5x. There's my inner, negative 2x. And there's my last, positive 10. Now notice, negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 5 is positive 10. Now when I put it together, I get x squared. Those two together, that should be an x right there, is negative 7x's and plus 10. That is FOIL. All right. Now another method, it's going to seem kind of similar, is called the distributive method. Okay, and the distributive method, really all that means is take each term in the first binomial times each term in the second binomial, or each term in the first trinomial times each term in the second binomial. Okay, so really I'm going x times x, which is x squared, x times negative 3, which gives me negative 3x, 5 times x, which is positive 5x, and notice I'm stacking my like terms this time, and 5 times negative 3, which is negative 15. So when I add, I've got my like terms underneath each other. So I have x squared, I have negative 3 and positive 5, or positive 2x, and negative 15. Now some of you look at that and go, well, what's the difference between that and FOIL? And really there isn't a big difference there. The deal is FOIL only works on binomials times binomials, because there's only 4 letters, right? F-O-I-L, F-O-I-N-L, right? So FOIL, that's it. Whereas if you're going a trinomial times a binomial, you run out of letters. So it's just kind of a way to remember. So really all it means is you're multiplying each term in the first. So negative 4 times positive 6 is negative 24. X squared times x is x cubed. And negative 4 times negative 5 is positive 20. And x squared, no x is there. All right, and then if I switch out my colors here, I have negative 3 times 6, or negative 18. And x times x is x squared. And then negative 3 times negative 3x times negative 5x is positive 15x. And then it gets a little messy. Okay, then I go 2 times 6 is 12, and that's x. And positive 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. So notice once again I stack my terms. Negative 24 x cubes. Positive 20 and negative 18 is positive 2x squared. Positive 15 and positive 12 is positive 27x's and negative 10. Okay, now if you wanted to, remember you can multiply in any order, right? So if I wanted to, I could have switched these around. So let me show you a quick other way here. I wanted to say 6x minus 5 times negative 4x squared minus 3x plus 2. Now that's the commutative property of multiplication. You can multiply in any order, just like if I said 2 times 3 is 6. Well, 3 times 2 is also 6. So I can multiply this by this binomial by this trinomial in a reverse order. What that allows me to do is make kind of it nice and pretty, right? That's negative 24x cubed. That's negative 18x squared, and positive 12x. Okay, and then I can go here. It's positive 20x squared. Here, positive 15x. And then here, negative 10. The only reason I show that is because it just makes it a little neater than all the arrows I had up above there. So it's really a personal preference. Should have been a squared there. Either way is fine. Okay, let's take a look at the distributive method. Okay, you know what? This is not the distributive method. This is actually called the table method here. Okay, so we're using a table, so fix that title up here. You know, maybe scribble it out and call it using a table. Obviously, I cut and paste, and I did not fix that. So using a table. All right. So table really just does this. It takes a look at the dimension. It's a 1, 2 by a 1, 2. So it's a 2 by 2 table. Okay, and my first two things are x and negative 2, and then x and 18. And it's positive 18, so I'm not going to put a plus or minus by it. Now you can either put it like that, or in fact the textbook we use, they actually puts like an extra little piece here. Okay, it puts a little piece. Now I'm not going to do that every time because I think that's a waste of time, but that's up to you. Okay. All this does is say, what's x times x? Well, it's x squared. What's x times negative 2? Well, notice this and this, they intersect here. That's negative 2x. What's x times 18? Well, that's 18x. And what's x times negative 2? Well, that's negative 36. And I look at it, that gives me x squared and positive 16x's, negative 2 and positive 18, and negative 36. That's my answer. Table method's nice. It's also called the box method or area model. It's a nice way to keep yourself organized. It takes a little longer though, but especially when you're dealing with trinomials, like 1, 2, 3 terms. I have 4x squared, I have negative 7x, and positive 3, and then I have 5x and negative 1. Okay, so looking at it, right, I have this area model that I can deal with here. Okay, you'll notice how messy I made it, but really all it is a way to organize yourself. So 5 times 4 is 20. X times x squared is x cubed. 5 times negative 7 is negative 35. X times x is x squared. 5 times 3 is 15, and there's an x. Negative 1 times 4 is negative 4, x squared. Negative 1 times negative 7 is positive 7, x, and negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. And then looking at my like terms, well, I've got here and no other x cubed, so I have 20x cubed. I have a negative 4x squared and a negative 35x squared, so that is negative 39x squared. I have a 7x and I have a 15x, so that gives me a positive 22x, and I have a negative 3. And that is my answer. It is a nice way to organize yourself. And you can make your box a little nicer if you want. I just look at it as a way of organization strategy. So you notice this table, this box on this side was much cleaner than this one over here. So you could have, you could have stopped your lines perfect, right? Made it look a little cleaner. So the problem I've had with some students in the past is they spend so long drawing their table that they never get to the problem, or they don't spend enough time on the problem. But there you got it. Okay? All right. I think this is our last method, the vertical method. And the vertical method works like this. It really is kind of built off of a idea like if you know how to go 19 times, let's say 19 times 22 or 23, right? So like knowing this problem, you go 3 times 9 is 27. 3 times 1 is 3, that's 5. When you carry the 2, you put your place value holder, 0 usually, and 2 times 9 is 18. Put your 1 up here, right? 2 and 1 is 3. And then you add, you get your 7. You get your 13, carry 1, 437. Okay? Well, the vertical method is vertically. So you take x minus 9, and you stack 2x plus 11. You're going to multiply. By the way, this should read vertical method. Obviously, I was cutting and pasting. Okay? Unbelievable. Such a rookie mistake. Okay? And so now I'm going to go 11 times negative 9. That is negative 99. And then 11 times x. That is 11x. And then 2x times negative 9, well, that's negative 18x. And notice I automatically have my place value holder because I'm stacking my like terms. And 2x times x is 2x to the third. Add them up, I get 2x to the third, negative 7x, and negative 99. And that is the vertical method. You have a trinomial. I would personally put the trinomial on top. So 3x squared minus 2x minus 5. I put the one with the most terms on top. The one with the least terms on bottom. Multiply it up. Negative 4 times negative 5 is positive 20. Negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8x. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12x squared. 7 times 5 is 35x. It's negative 35x. 7 times negative 2 is negative 14x squared. And 7 times 3 is 21x times x squared is x cubed. We add them up. We get our 20. Is this a 35x? Better double check that. 7 times, yes, it should have been 35x. Don't forget that x. 8x and negative 35x is negative 27x. Negative 12x squared, negative 14x squared, negative 26x squared, and 21x cubes. There you got it. Well, yep, that's all I got for you. Good luck.